Welcome back, everyone. It's December 29th, 1941. We're almost to the end of the first month of the war, and we're back with another turn of Alphabet Command, our co-op game with Evoken and I versus AndyMac. Let's see what this turn has in store for us. We have some landings at Port Moresby. Let's see how our coastal guns do. Moresby Fortress engaging this amphibious task force. It looks like it's doing a good amount of damage. Got lots of hits on some of these ships. Yeah, 33 hits on the Kamogawa Maru, 14 on the Cinco Maru, and some okay casualties here on the ground forces. He does manage to land some troops, though. We have about 600 AV here, but we'll see if he brought enough to push us off. Landings continue on Christmas Island. Line islands here are a key kind of strategic objective for him because they're kind of the most eastern islands in the Pacific, close to the west coast. So my PT boats get in among the troop transports again and force them to stop unloading, but they don't engage, unfortunately. And our second PT group gets in among them. It looks like they're actually going to engage this time. And I think they actually hit with a torpedo, which is great. They're doing their job as PT boats. There's also a motor torpedo boat, which I think is the Commonwealth British version of the PT boat. Or variant, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, Kamogawa goes down. She's sunk. Ukishimaru takes 2 torpedo hits, 5 shell hits, and is sunk. 6 shell hits on the Takotio Maru. And some good ground losses there. So good job to those PT boats. Those are always kind of David versus Goliath kind of engagements where you have these little PT boats going against these huge invasion task forces. These destroyers, though, are probably going to clean them up. Destroyers are kind of PT boats' worst enemy. This time we get away, possibly because of the thunderstorms in the Hex. ASW action here. Haven't been able to land any depth charges on the subs, which is annoying. And ASW attack here. Again, we're not able to land any depth charges off of Victoria here. Hope is that all those encounters will increase the experience of those ASW task forces, and hopefully those ships will be able to land some hits later on. We're on to the night naval search phase. Have another ship sinking sound. Ooh, and another one of my Dutch destroyers sinks. Snapper tries to put a torpedo into the Ruko Maru, but probably suffers from the Mark 14 torpedo, and no damage is done. Another bombardment of Port Moresby. This time it looks like it's a straight bombardment, not an invasion, not an amphibious landing. But really no damage is done, even though they have a spotter. Not sure why they weren't able to do a little bit more damage to my forces, but I'm not going to complain either. The Espoir at Johnson Island dodges an ASW attack. And we've got some more landings going on as he begins to consolidate his position on New Guinea. This will be interesting. I haven't played a game before where the Japanese player has taken the Line Islands. I've played a lot of aggressive Japanese players where they, will invade Australia, invade New Zealand, and do all sorts of other crazy things, go after Ceylon, but in the Eastern Pacific is something that's new for me. Yeah, these PT boats probably going to get cleaned up here. We lose one. That's not the worst result. More unloading action, and I think we're going to see more ships sunk. Yeah, fuel cargo burning on some of these ships. Port Moresby Fortress just really working over this invasion task force. The invasion task force, I think, is a little bit small. I would have brought more ships to kind of spread things, damage out a little bit more, and get more troops off faster. When you have a larger task force like that, you can spread that unloading out to more ships, but when you concentrate it into a smaller task force, it often takes a little bit longer than you'd like. Nothing else sinks, but man, the Tatua Maru is going to be in rough shape after taking 29 shell hits. More action with our PT boats, and yeah, they are going to get cleaned up, it looks like. Probably out of fuel by now. They've been kind of running back and forth. They've been evading these task forces and then heading back to Port Moresby. Yeah, they're not even firing back. Yeah, and they're all cleaned up. They're all sunk. Alright, SW up there. We're on to the day phase. Tonnant misses at Johnson Island. Look at the size of that task force. It's a juicy task force right there. And onto the air phase. Lots of spotting going on, of course. Zero's sweep Quangshawen. But I take out 3 of them while only losing 1 Moraine MS-410. See how they do against the Tojos. Not as well, it doesn't look like. Oh, take out at least 1. Yeah, 1 down, but we lose 2 Moraines. Demons sweeping where those carriers were yesterday, but they're not there anymore. Here comes those bombers. We do have a decent amount of Moraines, but still, they don't manage to do a lot of damage to those Nells before they drop their payload. We do take out 2, looks like 3 Nells, but we do lose a Moraine on the ground. Or that long-range cap over my base forces west of Gandari, taking out a couple Bettys. And I do have some Buffaloes on naval attack, of all things, on strafing, because the way that his carrier task forces have been operating, it feels like his cap is pulled in very, very close to the carriers. And so I didn't think it would be over the actual hex of the invasion task force. So just doing a little strafing here. beating up these forces a little bit more. Some more sweeping over Quang and some more bombing. Again, those lilies get through, and we're not able to intercept them. I am up high with those Marines, and I'm up high with those Marines because I want to do well against those sweeps, but no dice there. I want to do well against the sweeps, but the but when the bombers come in, they're too high to do a good intercept. Sweeping over Port Moresby, but I don't have any cap there. Again, lilies come in, and we're not able to intercept any. Comes another sweep, and we take out an Oscar. And more bombing at Medan. Do take out 4 of his bombers, which isn't a bad result. Some sallies come in. This time we do not intercept. Thunderstorms probably hurt our ability to intercept there. Looks like he's coming in at 15,000. We may be a little bit low for that. Another bombing raid. Again, coming in at 15,000. Catalinas go after one of his invasion forces, land a bomb on the China Maru, doing some damage to the squads as well. That's nice to see. So my old S-23 Empires also get on the action. 5 Catalinas from Horn Island. They go after the surface task force. Probably would have been better for them to go after one of the invasion task forces where there's softer targets. Lose a S-23 Empire to flak. More Catalinas come in. They go after these battleships, though, and that's, yeah, those aren't soft targets. They're just going to get torn apart if they try to do that. Bombing at Moulmein, doing very little damage here. He has moved into Moulmein. I imagine he'll try to attack very shortly. And we're still bombing here east of Pegu. 12 Catalinas this time. Again, going in after these combat ships, they're not going to be able to do too well. Yeah, and we don't score any hits there. Eddie's going after Miri. That train makes it hard to do any damage in Miri. I believe it's Jungle Rough. Dornier is getting swatted aside by Zeros. Onto the PM airphase. A little bit more strafing here, doing some hits to this destroyer. And we plant a bomb on the Mizuho Maru. Bombing Sambus, doing decent damage there. Yeah, I wonder if he's really out of supplies. It could be why we're doing a little bit more damage at Sambus. Catalinas come in. This time they miss. Again, they go after the combat ships, which isn't ideal. The S-23 Empires have the right idea, but miss the transports as well. Catalinas try to hit this destroyer. I wonder if he's landing up here at Tarapo as well. We'll see. My French patrol craft really want to go after this task force that's protected by a lot of cap. I have it searching a completely different area, but it seems like it really wants to attack up there. So I'm going to have to adjust its range settings so it stops doing that suicidal run. Catalina's again going after the Musashi and the Takasago. It's not going to do any good. I mean, I appreciate their bravery, but go after the transports, guys. And they do, it looks like, maybe attack the port and the airfield. Yeah, it's air attack. It looks like they went after the port. It's strange that they went after the port instead of the airfield, but I'm not going to complain. And coming at 20,000 feet, not going to do a lot of damage from way up there. And that's it for the airface. Snapper unfortunately misses at Port Moresby. It's really the only sub that we have in the area. Oh, Porpoise, nicely done. Puts a torpedo in this XAKL. And that's going to sink. More bombardment of Port Moresby. This time, the Musashi, which is, of course, Yamato class, I should say. Largest battleship in the world. Battlecruiser Takasago, heavy cruiser Adatara follow up. Yeah, whew, lots of ground casualties there, and lots of runway hits there. Not a lot of planes damage, but we had really removed most of our planes from Port Moresby because I was worried about A, Kido Butai strikes, and B, this exact scenario, these naval bombardments, which can really, really destroy and damage a lot of planes. So I still think that was the right decision. Yeah, because we could have lost a lot more, I think. More landings at Wake. So, Johor Bahru is captured. We anticipated this, and unfortunately one of my units was destroyed. The other one retreats to Singapore. And now all is left is for him to come after Singapore itself. He does a deliberate attack at Clark Field, probably tired of all those bombardments. Let's see how far he gets. These ground attacks can take some time when you're dealing with so many units. I don't think he's quite broad enough. I would expect to see all of this filled up before he went after Clark, but we'll see how it goes. Yes, 5th Special Assault Division just got bodied there, it looks like. Was that down at 98 previously? I don't think it was. I think it was way up at like 200 or 300. Of course, we're taking losses as well here. So far, holding up okay. I do reduce fortifications. It is a 1-3 attack, though, which is going to hurt him. He takes 16,000 casualties. We take 808. Oh, yeah, that's pretty one-sided. 57 vehicles lost, 69 squads destroyed, 926 disabled. So yeah, great result for us at Clark Field. And Miri does finally fall. Wake, however, is holding up. 771 Japanese casualties and no Allied casualties. Allied bombardment at Clark. Yeah, all these divisions, which were pretty fresh earlier, look pretty beat up. I think in that assault, we halved his AV in that hex. Like I said, if I was AndyMac, I would have waited until I had more troops there. I think it was a mistake to attack with so little, and the bombardment destroys, or disables, I should say, a few more. Bombardment at Wake. And 16th Division bombards Port Moresby. It does some casualties, 68 to the landing troops, probably because they're a little disrupted coming off the boats. Zamboanga falls in western Mindanao. And that's it for the turn. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you in the Discord. Take care.